So I'm going to talk a little bit about track day, kind of what my process was, how much money I spent, the overall experience, and kind of what I was expecting and what I actually got out of it. So that's kind of where I'm going. So let's start with what they told me I needed to buy. So I needed 2 gas tanks, 5.5 gallons each for a track day. Now I spent 3 hours out there, maybe 4, and the first part of the day was just kind of getting to know the track, first hour or 2. And then I went out. I was like, okay, fine. We'll see how this goes. He's like, hey, we're going to go back to the classroom. So we spent probably about 30 minutes in the classroom. I got some pizza. Oh, anyway, so let me go back. So you have to get a race suit. You have to get race gauntlets, gloves, right? You have to get racing boots. Now, I would say get them about a size bigger than what you are, because you have to fit the suit inside those racing boots, which I did not know. It was really tight. I had to have somebody help me out. So I had to help somebody help me put the boots on and the gloves. They were too tight. I had mediums or large, and I couldn't. It was just way too tight for my arms, my hands. You need the race suit. Now, I want you to think about this. If you borrow a race suit, they don't clean them. So everybody's sweat from whoever rode before is pretty much in it with yours. So if you buy your own race suit, you're looking at $900 to $1,100 custom, or through Alpine or whoever sells them, right? You can get the 2-piece suits that are a little bit cheaper, but you don't get the customization. They might be a little bit tighter, down low. They might be too long to the legs if you're short. The arms might be too long. You can zip them up, but you can customize that a little bit better. Get the zip ones that zip around. I brought my trailer thinking that I was going to trailer my bike, which I didn't. I should have. I was a little exhausted at the end, but I saved myself because I knew exactly where the end of my body was. There were 2 guys there from Austin, and they had to drive back to Austin after 6 o'clock. So I don't know about doing that on a Saturday afternoon, right? Like I told the guy, hey man, you gotta stay hydrated, drink some water, ride up there, because they have their regular gear. They have their jacket, jeans, and they had borrowed some suits from those guys. So originally I was like, okay, I need to buy tires. So I spent $200 or $400, almost $400 on a front and rear set of tires for the track. Now, they're okay for street. They're not designed for street, but they're okay. Now, let's talk about what I was supposed to buy on the bike. Now, originally they're like, hey, buy frame sliders for your bike if it drops on the street, the road, right? Okay, you're not hurt or devastated by that. Then I needed to get what was the other thing that they told me? Oh, I need to buy the tires. And then I need to buy the gas can. And then this guy, it's kind of weird, but he's like, oh, your tires are worn out. And I was like, they only have 2,000 miles on them. How are they worn out? And he goes, they're old. And I was like, no, they're brand new. They're not old. I go, but I bought a set of tires. So I told the guy, I was like, hey, I bought a set of tires. I want to switch them out. And then we'll switch them out at the end, and I can pick it up on Monday. And he's like, well, why are you doing that? I'm like, well, I ride to work. This is my everyday commute, so I need the tires switched out so I can ride it to work and ride it back. And he's like, well, it's $160 to replace the tires, and if we replace them again, that's $160. But if you take them off yourself, and then they started being like, well, you should buy some rims and all that. I was like, what, dude? I just want to put these racing tires on this motorcycle. I was told to have racing tires. And they go, no, we're just going to deflate your street tires and you should be fine. So I'm at 36. That's what the road system requires. And they dropped them down to 20 and I think 26 or something, the front, and 20 for the back. And then they go, hey, you need a steering dampener. And then they're like, hey, you need to fix your brake lever because it fell. That guy pushed my bike over and it fell, and the broke the brake lever. And he's like, you need a new brake lever. You can't ride with that brake lever. It'll stab you in the side. And I was like, I'm not planning on crashing. I'm not going super fast. I'm not going to go like 200 something miles an hour. But, he started arguing point, and he's like, you need a new brake lever, blah, blah, blah. And then they taped up the bike. So if you see in the video, there's blue tape. They go, can you take the mirrors off? And I was like, no, I don't have the tool for it. But I think there's just an Allen wrench to take it. But you ride without a mirror, and it's so weird for me to ride without a mirror. I'm not joking. I had to look back a few times. I know somebody's going to say, well, you don't get an everyday commuter at your track bike. I got it. I was testing out to see if I really wanted to do this and see how fun it was. It was supposed to be just a great day, relax. I'm not taking it serious. I'm not going to be a racer. I'm 79 years old. My time is over. But anyway, the dog's making noise. So I don't plan on doing this for a career. And there's some people that are actually trying right now to be race motorcyclists, with their Aprilias and their BMWs and stuff. And so I'm over here just minding my own little business, right? Like I'm trying to do. And the guy's like, oh, you got to stay on my line. You got to watch me. And I'm really timid, right? Like I've been in a motorcycle accident, so I'm still a little, but I'm not joking. I thought I was leaning really hard on the bike, and I'm doing like maybe 20 degrees, and he was doing, there was a point in time where he was doing like 60, 50 degrees, and I was kind of going off his line because I wasn't banking as much. And I don't know if it's in the video, but I scraped a little bit, just a hair of a bit, I scraped. And it freaked me out just enough that I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna push myself that much because it kind of freaked me out. And then they go, oh, you gotta get rid of those low pegs, because they scrape. You can take the bike even further. And I was like, okay. So let's start from the beginning, right? Needed two 5-gallon gas tanks. I barely used 2 gallons total. Need to fix the brake lever. Didn't have to. I didn't fall. Shouldn't have frame sliders. If you have frame sliders, they should be really low profile frame sliders. So something you should think about if you want to get frame sliders, get low profile. I need to get new tires, which I didn't need to get new tires because the road tires did fine. I just deflated them to 20 and 26 for the front, 20 for the back. Get rid of your mirrors. I'd say take those off at home and trailer your bike if you want, or you can ride with them, but I don't really ride without mirrors. I can't. I don't know how people do it. What was the other thing? And then cover up your lights. They wanted me to take off my license plate, but they ended up taping it, so the license plate was taped. And I think that was it, right? Like, and then he was like, "Oh, your chain needs." Like, I get it. My chain's at 500 miles. This is the last time I've cleaned it. I need to clean my chain again. And it's kind of one of those things, like, they don't tell you all this stuff, right? You need your race boots, you need your race suit. I need a closed helmet, which this helmet, if you look at it, is closed. The other helmet I have is an open face helmet, but this one's a closed helmet. Get earplugs, because some of those bikes are kind of loud. They don't really like loud bikes. But get some earplugs, the cheapy ones that you get from the gun range. Just get those little orange ones, plug those in your ear, perfectly fine. Now, I do say that as a caveat. People are trying to sell you these $600, $300, $400 earplugs. Just go get those cheapy little orange earplugs from Home Depot, Academy, from, like a gun store. Just little cheapy little ones, right? Little orange. Put them in your ear. You'll be fine. They don't record. You can't listen to music. They almost threw a fit. I don't know if you can see it. My Peak Design, phone mount. They're like, oh, you gotta take this off. I was like, okay, well, I got an Allen wrench. I can take it. Oh, well, we gotta get out there on the track. There's no real organization. They're like, hey, we have 6 guys that are gonna teach. There's 7 of us that we're gonna get on the track. And then 2 guys backed out, or they left, or they didn't want to do it. They wanted to come back tomorrow. I really don't know exactly what happened. So it was just 5 of us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there was 5 of us out of the 6 or 7 that were supposed to be there. And out of the trainers that were supposed to be there were people that were riding already all day long, so they were kind of exhausted and tired because it was getting hot. It's Texas. I don't know. Look at that sun. I mean, that is 1,000-degree sun, right? Like on your ass in Texas. Full leathers. It is hot. There is a leather that somebody had that wasn't perforated. He was cooking a little bit more. He uses those for winter, he says, but I don't know if you want to do that. Here in Texas, it's pretty hot, so perforated, I think, is pretty good. The last thing I would say that I was kind of confused on, I thought, hey, I do a Saturday class, I can come back on Sunday because that's how we were all talking. And at the end, you have to get invited by another instructor to come back out on Sunday because you're racing with everybody else that's on the track on Sunday. And it's not just you by yourself with the pack, right? Like, you have to have an instructor go out there with you on Sunday. So I was hoping Nancy and David would be out there, and then I could just hang with them and then go on the track on Sunday, because this is the only Sunday I'm going to get off. I got a new job, and I'm going to be another 90 days before I get another Sunday off to be able to hang out with them. So I was like, okay, well, the instructor that I had, the guy that I'm following here on the video, he's not there on Sundays, so I could only ride with him today, and they force you to ride with somebody. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever, I'll ride with somebody, blah blah blah. But the big issue that I thought was going on, or I had, was that I thought I was going to be able to ride just on Sunday. I can come back Sunday, be with anybody, but you have to be with your instructor or an instructor that's willing to, take you on. And then, I don't know if it's in this video or not, but there's one of the instructors, he's really fast paced. He doesn't, what your skill level is. I don't know if his name's Charlie or Taryn or whatever, but he drove the wrong line on the straightaway right here in a second. And the other instructor was like, no, you don't do that. But he drove the straightaway because there was water on it, and everybody was driving wide. And I don't know. I don't know the race lines. I can't visualize it in my mind. I know turn 9, 10, 11 a little bit, 7, 6, 5, and 4. But 1, 2, 3. What is the other one? I don't remember the other one. 4 and 5, those are right there. But what I'm saying is, like, I can't remember where I'm at on the track, and at the end I zoned out a little bit, and I knew that I was done, because I was just riding just to ride, and I dropped my speed from 70 average to like 55, 40, and the guy's like, hey, you gotta get off the track, you're going too slow, because everybody else is coming 60, 70 miles an hour. Now there is a straightaway right here. I don't know if I show it, but I hit 101, 102, I think, on my speedometer, which I understand my speedometer's off. It's probably like 90, 95. But it's scary to go that fast on this track because the turns come up so quick. You're riding straight as fast as you can, and then boom, you're already at the next turn. And so I don't think I averaged out of 70, 68 on most of the track. And I know that a lot of these guys can go super fast, come in, come out, right? But I was too timid because this is my everyday bike, and I didn't want to crash. I didn't want to make a mistake. There were a couple of times where I freaked out a little bit because I went way off the line, and I was out there in no man's land. And I just, I braked a little bit harder, come in. But what they teach you is you're looking towards the future, right? Where's the turn ending? So you can gun out of it and go fast. And I thought in my mind I understood how to race, because I did sims, I did karting, I did a little bit of Circuit of Americas, where we went on the track. Like, I've done stuff like that where I've experienced racing-ish, right, in quotes, but I was not prepared for the lean that you have to do in the bike, and I scraped that little peg on one of the leans, and it freaked me out a little bit. Not really like scared, I knew it was going to happen, but like I felt it, and I was like, okay, I'm at the edge of this bike. And that's where the instructor was like, oh, you got to get rid of those pegs. But I was like, I need a Aprilia or a Triumph, or what's the other one? Maybe like a Gixxer, or Kawasaki, to be able to really lean into a lot of these things. Most of these guys rode as their backup, as their not their primary bikes, but their teaching bikes were 600s, 500s, and 300s, 400s. There was one that was a 400 on here, and he was flying, man. He was like, just going past us like crazy. But there was a guy on a naked bike. I didn't think he could do that, but he had a naked bike out there. I think it was a 550 something. I can't remember. Suzuki something. But anyway, so it's kind of one of those things, like, it's not what I expected. And I had a lot of fun. But at the same time, it was not exactly what I was hoping for. I was hoping more, hey, listen, you're free. Go on the track. Have fun. And this guy he wouldn't let me get on the track by myself because I don't know the lines. I don't know the racing lines. I'm trying. He's like, hey, we got to get back and we got to learn these lines, these racing lines where you're supposed to be. And, he goes, we've been around the track 4 times. You don't know where you're supposed to be. I was like, no, I'm not really paying attention. I'm trying to look at the turns that are coming up, and I'm not really paying attention where I'm at in the track. And then by the time I know where I'm at in the track, I'm already in turn 5, 6, and 7 at the end. Right? Like, I'm already there. And it's hard for me to, how do I describe it? It's hard for me to be like, oh, okay, I got this part of the track that I need to be at, this part of the track. And so what they do is they want to break down the track slowly. You want 3 turns broken down. Hang on a second. Once you break down 3 turns, right? So my turns were 5, 6, 7, but my problems started in turn 2, 3. That's where my problem started. So coming out of 2, going into 3, I'm too wide. I'm not up against the line on the right side. And so when I come into turn 4, I'm already behind the curve because now I'm jetting down towards 4, and then coming up on 5, rounding 6 or 7, I can't remember what the number was, and then on the straightaway coming back down, I'm already on the wrong side because I already panicked a little. So we're trying to work on that back stretch, but the only way to work on those back stretches is to fix those front 2 turns. And I can never remember where I'm at in those front 2 turns because I'm, where I'm at. And then the guy's like, you need to get a dampener for your motorcycle. Okay, anyway, this video's gone too long. Sorry if you're still here. I would say do a track day if you can. It's fun. It's expensive. I'll run through all the prices in the next video, but it was good. It was fun. Riding home on the bike, I do tell you this little part was definitely different. It was definitely like, hey, we're riding back to my house, and I still felt the adrenaline from the track. I still felt, the speed that I was going at the track, even though it was slow. I was feeling the turns and the leans, and it's different than riding on the street. Right? The riding on the street is just straight shots. And somebody goes, if you want to go super fast, just go straight on the highway. But you got to worry about cops all the time, so I don't know. I don't recommend that. But hey, if you have any questions about track days, just let me know in the comments, and I'll try to answer in the next video.